I just want to have a child. It doesn't matter how. Seyi, meanwhile, watched from a distance. She had heard about Kemi's struggles and pretended to be concerned when she visited Kemi. Kemi, I'm so sorry about what you're going through, she said, her voice filled with fake sympathy. Kemi sat with Seyi in the cozy living room, pouring her heart out about her and Kunle's new plan. We've decided to try surrogacy, Kemi said, her voice filled with a glimmer of hope. I think this could finally be the answer to all our prayers. Kunle and I are so excited about it. Seyi nodded, her expression carefully neutral. That's a great idea, Kemi. I really hope it works out for you. She reached over to hold Kemi's hands, offering what seemed like genuine support. Kemi smiled, grateful. Thank you, Seyi. I've been through so much. I just want to be a mother. You know, I'm praying this will work. Seyi squeezed Kemi's hand. It will, Kemi. You deserve to be happy. But as soon as Seyi left Kemi's house, her heart burned with jealousy and anger. She couldn't believe that Kemi might still get what she wanted, even after all these years of heartbreak. That evening, Seyi went straight to the native doctor. His small, dimly lit hut smelled of herbs and incense, and Seyi felt a chill run down her spine as she entered. The old man looked up from where he sat, surrounded by various charms and potions. You're back, he said in a raspy voice. Yes, Seyi replied, her voice trembling slightly. Kemi told me something. She's planning to use a surrogate mother to have a child. The native doctor narrowed his eyes, stroking his long beard. So she has found another way. Yes, Seyi said, her hands clasped tightly. I need to stop it. I can't let her win again. She always wins. The native doctor chuckled darkly. Calm yourself, my child. If the surrogate uses her eggs, we can make sure the child still will not survive. Seyi's heart pounded as the man began chanting in low voice, reaching for a small bottle filled with a strange dark liquid. Take this, he said, handing her the bottle. Touch her skin with this liquid on your fingers. Just a light touch is all it takes. It will bind her fate to the surrogate's womb. The same curse on her will affect the surrogate. As long as Kemi's eggs are involved, no child will live. Seyi hesitated for a moment. Are you sure this will work? The native doctor nodded. It will work. But remember, Seyi, the more harm you cause, the more your own soul will carry the weight of this evil. Seyi shook off his words, determined. I'll do whatever it takes. I don't care about anything else. The next day, Seyi went to visit Kemi again, carrying her usual air of warmth and support. I just wanted to check on you, she said, as she hugged Kemi tightly, letting her fingers brush lightly against Kemi's arm. Kemi smiled, completely unaware of the sinister act that had just taken place. Thanks for always being there, Seyi. I don't know what I'll do without you. As Seyi left Kemi's house, she couldn't help but smirk to herself. Let's see how you'll get out of this one, she thought. Kemi, on the other hand, felt lighter, hopeful that her plan to have a surrogate carry her child would bring her long-awaited happiness. She had no idea that an invisible force was already working against her. The next week, Kemi and Kunle contacted a reputable agency and found a surrogate mother. Everything seemed to be going smoothly. Kemi's eggs were harvested and fertilized, and the embryo was implanted in the surrogate. But then, the unthinkable happened. The surrogate also miscarried at 3 months. Kemi was devastated. Even my eggs, they can't survive? She whispered to Kunle, tears streaming down her face. What's wrong with me? Kunle held her close. It's not your fault, Kemi. We'll figure this out. We'll keep trying. But deep down, Kemi felt like her world was falling apart. Some weeks later at work, Kemi walked through the hospital hallway, holding her files and smiling at everyone she passed. She loved her job as a doctor, even though her heart ached for the one thing she didn't have, a child of her own. As she walked past the cleaning section, an elderly woman called out to her, "Dr. Kemi, please wait." Kemi stopped and turned around. It was Mama Esther, the kind old woman who cleaned the hospital. Kemi always greeted her warmly and sometimes gave her small gifts like food or money. "Yes, Mama Esther. Is everything okay?" Kemi asked, her voice gentle. Mama Esther nodded but looked serious. "My daughter, I need to tell you something very important." Kemi tilted her head, curious. "What is it?" Mama Esther stepped closer and lowered her voice. "I had a dream about you. God showed me something in the spiritual realm. Some evil has been done against you, and it is this reason you have not been able to have a child." Kemi's heart skipped a beat. "What kind of evil?" she whispered. Mama Esther sighed. "I don't know the full details, but I saw pots, glass pots, smashing to the ground. And I saw you and your husband praying together. After the prayer, light surrounded you and something dark left your home." Kemi's eyes filled with tears. "Mama Esther, what should I do?" Mama Esther placed a hand on Kemi's shoulder. "My child, you and your husband must do a personal prayer and fasting session for 7 days. No distractions. Just pray and ask God to reveal and destroy every evil plan against you. Trust Him. You will see what He can do." Kemi wiped her tears and nodded. "Thank you, Mama Esther. I'll do it." When Kemi got home that night, she told Kunle everything Mama Esther had said. Kunle held her hand and said, "We'll do it, Kemi. We've tried everything else. Let's trust God completely this time." The next morning, they started their 7 days of prayer and fasting. They woke up early each day to pray together, asking God to fight for them. They read their Bible and sang songs of worship, pouring their hearts out to God. On the 7th day, something strange happened. Kemi was in the kitchen cleaning up when she accidentally bumped into the shelf where the glass pots Seyi had given her were kept. The pots fell one by one, shattering into tiny pieces on the floor. Kemi stood frozen, her heart pounding. "Kemi, are you okay?" Kunle ran into the kitchen, hearing the noise. Kemi turned to him, her face pale. "The pots, they all fell and broke." Kunle looked at the shattered pieces, his brow furrowed. "It's strange. It's like they were pushed off the shelf by something we can't see." At that moment, Kemi felt a sense of peace wash over her. "Kunle, I think the evil has been broken." Kunle stared at the shattered glass pots on the kitchen floor, his expression a mix of confusion and curiosity. "Kemi," he said slowly, pointing at the broken pieces, "aren't these the pots Seyi gave us as a wedding gift?" Kemi froze, the words hitting her like a lightning bolt. She remembered Mama Esther's dream about the pots and how they symbolized the evil done against her. Her heart raced as she pieced everything together. "Kunle," Kemi whispered, her voice trembling. "Mama Esther told me that something evil has been done to me, remember? She mentioned pots breaking in her dream. What if these pots were the cause of everything?" Kunle's face darkened with realization. "You mean the miscarriages? All the pain we've been through? Could it be because of these pots?" Kemi nodded slowly, tears streaming down her face. "It all makes sense now. Every time I used these pots, something bad happened. Kemi, what if Seyi gave us these pots not out of love, but to harm us?" Kunle clenched his fist, anger flickering in his eyes. If this is true, she has done something unimaginable. I had always known she wasn't a good friend, Kemi. Back in university, when we were still dating, she tried to seduce me into having an affair with her. Kemi's jaw dropped, her eyes widening in shock. What? Kunle, are you serious? Seyi, my best friend? Kunle nodded, his voice firm. Yes, she stopped me after our study session one evening. She was acting all flirty, touching my arm, saying things like, "You deserve someone who appreciates you more." I stopped her immediately and told her I wasn't interested. I also warned her not to try it again. Kemi shook her head, her voice trembling with anger and disbelief. Why didn't you tell me, Kunle? Why would you keep something like that from me? What if she had tried to get rid of me to have you? Kunle sighed, his shoulders slumping. Kemi, I didn't want to be the reason two close friends would become enemies. I thought if I ignored her, she would stop. I didn't think it would get to this point. Kemi turned away, pacing the room. Her mind raced with memories of moments when she had suspected Seyi's jealousy. You know, Kunle, she said quietly, there were times I felt Seyi was jealous of me. Little comments she made, the way she looked at me when something good happened to me, but I always pushed it aside. I told myself I was imagining things because I trusted her. Kunle walked up to her and gently placed a hand on her shoulder. Kemi, I'm sorry. I know I should have told you back then, but now that we know the truth, we can't let her destroy what we've built. You're my wife, my partner, and we'll handle this together. Kemi pulled away from Kunle's embrace, her eyes blazing with anger and hurt. She reached for her phone on the table, her hands trembling as she unlocked it. I'm calling her right now, Kunle. I need to confront her. I need to ask her why she's done this to me after everything we've been through. Kunle quickly stepped in, gently taking the phone from her hand. Kemi, wait. This is not the right time. Kemi stared at him, her voice rising. Not the right time? Kunle, she tried to ruin my life. She's been pretending to be my friend while plotting against me all these years. Don't you think I deserve some answers? Kunle placed the phone on the table, his tone firm but calm. I understand how you feel, Kemi, but calling her right now, in this state, won't solve anything. She'll deny it. She'll twist the story and it will only make things worse. We need to approach this wisely. Kemi's chest heaved as she struggled to calm down. So what do we do, Kunle? Just sit here and do nothing? And let her think she's gotten away with everything? Kunle stepped closer, taking her hands in his. No, Kemi. We'll deal with this, but on our terms. Right now, we need to focus on us. On our family, our future. Let's pray about this and let God reveal everything in His time. Trust me, the truth will always come out. Kemi's lips quivered as tears streamed down her face. Kunle, I feel so betrayed. How could she do this to me? I loved her like a sister, but now I see she was never truly happy for me. Kunle wrapped his arms around her again, holding her tightly. I know, Kemi. I know it hurts. But confronting her right now will only give her power over your emotions. Don't let her steal your peace. Let's rise above this together. We can't change the past, but we can protect our future. Let's keep praying about this and trust God to guide and deliver us from every hidden evil. Kemi sat down slowly, wiping her tears, her mind racing with thoughts of all the moments she had shared with Seyi. The betrayal cut deep, but she resolved to follow Kunle's advice and focus on rebuilding her peace. Kemi, loosen up, Kunle said while picking up a brush and packer. Let's remove these pots from our home and let God handle the rest. Kemi agreed, and together they carefully packed the broken pieces of the pots into a trash bag. They took them out of the house and disposed of them far away. As they returned home, Kemi felt a sense of relief, as though a heavy burden has been lifted from her shoulders. From that day on, Kemi avoided Seyi's visits. Anytime Seyi called to ask if she could come over, Kemi would politely say she wasn't going to be around. Though it hurt to distance herself from someone she had once considered her best friend, Kemi knew it was for her own peace of mind. But then, a few weeks later, something strange happened. It was in the middle of the night, and the house was silent. Kemi woke up suddenly, feeling the urge to use the toilet. She got out of bed quietly, so as not to disturb Kunle, and made her way to the bathroom. But as she sat down, she felt something odd. At first, she thought it was just her imagination, but when she stood up, she froze. There on the bathroom floor were small shiny cowries scattered beneath her. Kemi's heart pounded in her chest. Her hands trembled as she stared at the cowries. What? What is this? How did these get here? She whispered to herself. Her legs felt weak as fear gripped her. She quickly grabbed her wrapper and hurried back to the bedroom. Kunle, she whispered, shaking him awake. Kunle, wake up! Kunle groaned, still half asleep. Kemi, what is it? What's wrong? Come and see for yourself, Kemi said, her voice shaking. Something strange just happened. Kunle sat up, alarmed by the fear of her voice. He followed her to the bathroom, where she pointed to the cowries on the floor. Kunle, I don't understand. These fell from me. How is this even possible? Kunle's eyes widened as he stared at the cowries. He bent down to pick one up, but quickly dropped it, as though it burned his fingers. This is not normal, he said, his voice firm. Kemi, this is spiritual warfare. We need to pray right now. Right there in the bathroom, Kunle and Kemi knelt on the cold tiles, holding hands. They began to pray with all their might. Kunle's voice echoed through the house as he rebuked every evil attack, declaring God's protection over their lives. Kemi cried out to God, tears streaming down her face as she begged God for deliverance. They prayed aggressively until the first light of dawn broke through the windows. Exhausted but determined, they made a decision. They dedicated the entire day to praising and thanking God for His intervention. They read Bible verses about God's power to break every curse and sang songs of victory. By the end of the day, both Kemi and Kunle felt a deep peace in their hearts. It was as though a heavy burden had been lifted from their shoulders. Kunle, Kemi said, her voice steady but filled with hope. I feel it. I feel like God has done something. I don't know how to explain it, but I believe He has heard our prayers. Kunle nodded, taking her hand. I believe it too, Kemi. This is the beginning of something new. That same night that Kemi woke up to find that cowries had fallen from her body. Far away in her home, Seyi woke up in pain. Her stomach felt like it was being twisted from the inside, and a wave of nausea hit her hard. She clutched her belly and groaned, beads of sweat forming on her forehead. At first, Seyi thought it was just something she ate, but as the days went by, the pain didn't stop. Her stomach began to swell. She thought it was bloating, but the swelling didn't go away. In fact, it seemed to grow larger each day. She couldn't ignore it any longer. Seyi visited doctor after doctor, clinic after clinic, but no one could explain what was wrong with her. Every test came back normal, yet her stomach looked like that of a pregnant woman in her third trimester. It wasn't just the swelling. The pain was constant, and she could barely sleep at night. This is impossible, one doctor said, shaking his head after her 5th visit. You're not pregnant, and there's no sign of any growth or condition causing the swelling. I think you should consider seeing someone who specializes in rare diseases. Seyi felt her heart sink. None of the tests could detect what was wrong, yet her body felt like it was betraying her. She became desperate, losing weight while her belly continued to grow unnaturally large. Meanwhile, Kemi's life was taking a different turn. After months of prayer and fasting with her husband, She began to notice changes in her body. One morning, she woke up feeling unusually tired. She brushed it off, thinking it was work stress, but the symptoms persisted. Kemi decided to take a pregnancy test, and once again, the result was positive. She was excited but cautious. After so many miscarriages, she couldn't help but worry and didn't want to celebrate too soon. Every day, Kemi and Kunle prayed over the pregnancy, asking God to protect the baby. To their amazement, the pregnancy progressed smoothly. For the first time in years, Kemi carried a pregnancy beyond 3 months. By the time she reached her 8th month, they were confident enough to start buying baby clothes and setting up a nursery. When their daughter was finally born, she was perfect. A beautiful baby with bright eyes and a gentle cry. They named her Anuolua, meaning God's mercy. Kemi and Kunle couldn't stop thanking God for the miracle. But while Kemi was rejoicing, Seyi was falling apart. The pain in her stomach became unbearable, and she barely had the strength to leave her house. Her swollen belly made her look pregnant, but every test confirmed she wasn't. One night, as she lay in bed, unable to sleep, she remembered the native doctor's warning. He had told her the curse could backfire if something broke the spiritual hold. Fear gripped her heart. Could something have gone wrong with the charm? She whispered to herself, trembling. Desperate and out of option, Seyi decided to return to the native doctor. She dragged herself to his dark, eerie hut, her hands shaking as she knocked on the door. The native doctor opened the door, his eyes narrowing as he looked at her. "You have returned," he said in a low voice. "Yes," Seyi said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Something is wrong. I'm sick, and no one can tell me why. My stomach keeps growing, but I'm not pregnant. I think something went wrong with the charm, Baba." The native doctor motioned for her to sit. He sat across from her, staring into a small pot of smoking herbs. "Your fears are true," he said after a long silence. "The pots you gave to Kemi, your friend, were broken by the power of prayer and fasting. The curse has reversed. Everything you did to her has come back to you." Sheyi's heart sank. No, that can't be true, Baba. There has to be a way to fix this, right?" The native doctor shook his head. "Some things cannot be undone, my daughter. You chose this path, and now you must face the consequences." Tears streamed down Sheyi's face as she realized the gravity of what she had done. The very curse which she had placed on Kemi was now destroying her. One night, as Seyi lay in bed, writhing in pain, she couldn't take it anymore. She knew there was only one way to stop her suffering. She had to seek forgiveness from Kemi. She picked up her phone and dialed Kemi's number. Her hands trembled as she waited for Kemi to answer. When Kemi's phone rang, she was sitting on the couch, cradling baby Anuolua in her arms. She looked at the screen and froze when she saw Seyi's name. Kunle, sitting across the room, noticed her hesitation. "Are you okay to answer that?" he asked gently. Kemi sighed, her heart heavy, with mixed emotions. "I don't know, Kunle. After everything." Kunle nodded. "Pray about it. If you feel led to pick up, then pick up." Taking a deep breath, Kemi answered the call. "Hello?" "Kemi." Seyi's voice came through, weak and shaky. It was so faint that Kemi had to strain to hear her. "Kemi, I need to see you. Please, it's urgent." Kemi's brow furrowed. "What do you mean urgent, Seyi?" Kemi responded cautiously. "Whatever you want to tell me, you can tell me over the phone." The line was silent for a moment before Seyi's voice came again, cracking with emotion. "Kemi, please forgive me," she whispered. "Please, I need your forgiveness, Kemi. I've wronged you in ways you can't imagine." Kemi's grip on the phone tightened, her mind racing. Seyi, what are you talking about? I was jealous, Kemi. From the very beginning. I envied you. Your beauty, your success, your relationship with Kunle, everything. I let that jealousy consume me, and I did terrible things. Her voice broke as she began to sob. Kemi's heart ached as she listened. The memories of all the strange happenings, her miscarriages, the broken pots, the sleepless nights filled with prayers, flooded her mind. Tears streamed down her face as she whispered, "What did you do, Seyi?" I went to a native doctor, Seyi confessed. "I cursed you, Kemi. The pots I gave you as a wedding gift, they were charmed. I wanted you to suffer. I couldn't bear to see you so happy while I felt so empty." "Seyi," Kemi said, "you did all that to me and I trusted you. I loved you like a sister, Seyi." "I know," Seyi sobbed. "I don't deserve your forgiveness. But Kemi, please, I'm dying. The curse, it's backfired on me. My stomach keeps growing and the pain won't stop. The native doctor said it can't be undone. I've seen so many doctors, but nothing works. Please, Kemi, I'm begging you. Forgive me before I leave this world." Kemi sat in silence, the weight of Seyi's words pressing down on her. Kunle, who had been listening, placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "Forgive her, Kemi," he said gently. "Not because she deserves it, but because God commands us to forgive others as He has forgiven us. Forgiveness is an act of obedience to God, and it brings healing and freedom to our soul." With tears streaming down her face, Kemi spoke into the phone. "Seyi, you hurt me in ways I can't even begin to explain. You stole years of happiness from me and Kunle. You made me question my faith, my health, my worth as a woman. But despite all of that," her voice wavered, "I forgive you. I forgive you because God has forgiven me so many times. And because holding on to this pain will only hurt me more." Kunle took the phone from Kemi and spoke firmly. "Seyi, we forgive you, but I hope you use this time to make peace with God. Only He can truly help you now." Seyi wept on the other end, her cries muffled by the static. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you for showing me mercy." 2 weeks later, news reached Kemi and Kunle that Seyi had passed away. Her condition had worsened, and despite her efforts to seek healing, nothing worked. The repercussions of her actions had taken their toll. Kemi attended the funeral, holding baby Anoluwa close to her chest. As she stood by Seyi's graveside, tears streamed down her face, not just for the pain Seyi had caused her, but for the life Seyi had wasted because of jealousy and bitterness. Kunle stood beside her. "Let's pray for her soul," he said softly. As they bowed their heads, Kemi whispered, "Lord, you know I have forgiven her, and I pray you forgive her too. Thank you for teaching me to forgive, even when it's hard. Help me to choose love over hate and peace over envy." This story reminds us of the importance of trust and honesty in friendships. Betrayal and envy can destroy even the strongest bonds. But true joy comes from celebrating others' successes and staying kind. Let's choose love over jealousy and be the kind of friends who uplift, not tear down. Proverbs 14 verse 30. "A heart at peace gives life to the body, but envy rots the bones." If you've enjoyed the story so far, do consider giving it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so. We also have other interesting stories as this on this channel. Do well to watch them. Stay blessed. See you in my next one.